But the name Amen or Amen is Amen Ra, the land of Amen Ra. That's the original name of what they're referring to as Egypt, which is just dealing with the encampments that the gypsies, because that's what they were. They are gypsies. They don't have a land. That's why they be on everybody going, trying to colonize everything, because they don't have a land. Not even Europe is theirs. That belonged to Ethiopia. But that's a whole nother story in itself. These are gypsies. And gypsies like to stay by the water. And they called that part Egypt because when we seen them come across the Nile Valley, we called them Egyptos. And that means a burnt-faced gypsy. Their face is being burnt by the sun. It can't take the sun. They need to go back up into Mount Haran and up into the Caucasus Mountain. They don't want you to know that. They don't want to address that shit. But they'll look at you and call you a chimp. That's one of the biggest trends they got going on now, calling us chimps.
Building a fitness business,
and the girls that be saying that shit is the girl that was calling us chimps.
Oh my God.
The chick that was calling us chimps, she got lips like a chimp. Right? She had lips like a chimp. I'm like, damn, you ain't even got no lips, and you calling so-called black people chimps. Only other animal that has big lips other than us are fish. And it got to be a certain type of fish because we came out the water. You want to talk about our big lips? Well, we're going to have to credit us with the sea. The Little Mermaid. That's why they had to have a Nubian girl play the Little Mermaid. The beings up under the water wasn't having it. Like, nah, man, you're going to have to put, you're going to have to put one of our ancestors up there because you're not an ancestor. Right? Yeah, they lost their minds. Because see, all they got is fantasy. Just like with the Betty Boop. They got the sister from the ABC show. Y'all tap the screen. Tap the screen for me. I got it. Yeah, Betty Boop. That's the girl name, Betty Boop. Oh, Betty Boop, they making her black. How dare they do that? Why they make Betty Boop like it's a damn cartoon character? Who give a fuck? She was black first anyway. Did you know that? They don't want to talk about that. But my whole thing to you Karens and Kevins is take your ass back to Mount Haran. Go to the Isle of Patmos. Why don't you just go back to where you're from? You could be as racist as you want. You could be as hateful as you want. But you're being a hypocrite while you standing on Algonquia. Right? While you standing on Algonquia being racist, being prejudiced, rather that be overtly or covertly, you're living a hypocritical life. Because this is not where your ancestors descended from. Go back to where you're from. And be appreciative that the land itself is giving you some odd shape of being here, because you just spilled a lot of blood into the land. And the spirits know they didn't kept the receipts. Why you think a lot of them be so afraid to die? With all that Jesus love them shit, you should be up out of here after that first triple bypass. But you had 7 or 8 of them in a row, right? And you scared to go. You scared to go. Queen Elizabeth was holding on like a motherfucker, boy. Like, damn, she's still alive? Like, yeah, she's still alive. I thought she was gonna check out 10 years ago. She stayed in the seat so damn long. she stayed in that seat so long. I'm like, oh my God. By the time she passed on, her son old as hell. This nigga like 78. Like, oh shit, I'm about to die. I'm gonna hand it over to, like, man, please. Y'all better wake up. Same thing with George Bush Sr. It looked like electricity was keeping that nigga alive when he was in a little chair. Like, man, get him out of here. Why is he still here? Oh, he brought him back to life. Let that motherfucker die. They're afraid. But they know they gotta atone for all their devilishment. And I don't care what type of icing you try to put on shit. It's still shit. You can't pour syrup on shit and call it pancakes. You just can't. And this is coming from the galactical transmissions. You haven't done anything benevolent with your time to rule on the planet. All you bought was death and destruction and suffering. That's all you bought. That's your track record. That's what you got a receipt for. Your ledger is full of blood, so is your gods, and so are your scriptures. You need to be convicted for your convictions. Period. And you want to talk about the Epstein files? Half of the people in the Department of Justice is in the damn file. You think they're going to prosecute themselves? But you got the litigated gall to lock people up for nonviolent crimes. But you up here torturing children on a little island and getting away with it. And there's videos on it. Shouts out to Puff Daddy, boy. That nigga Puff Daddy ain't stupid. He one of their little lapdogs. He one of their minions. But I gotta give him his credit. Like, shit, nigga, I'm fucking videotaping every damn thing. Y'all notice they raised a federal case on that brother for something that he paid for out of court in civil court. So he already won that case. So when they brought him to federal court, I didn't know it was about Cassie. I'm like, man, they're doing it about Cassie? You must got something on their ass. So they can't do nothing about it. They're like, yeah, we just gonna give this nigga a few years. Let him simmer down. Yep, he sued the alcohol company. Yeah, we know about that. But I'm saying his leverage, he got them motherfuckers on tape, man. And I'm telling y'all, they like little boys. They keep saying little girls, but they like little boys. And I don't care that they little white children. I don't care if they're Chinese children. I don't like children being touched like that. They shouldn't even be, in the proximity of that type of activity. Where are they getting these children from? They're harvesting them. They don't want to know this shit. But see, you want to come here and tell me Jesus loves me, right? Go say that to some of these devils. I'm good. I don't need no word of wisdom for some of you little goofy motherfuckers. I don't need it. But that sex offender in your neighborhood does. You hear me? These people in office that's doing all of this little perverted, debaucherous, nefarious activity with children, they the ones that need it. It ain't nothing to talk about on TV if we ain't talking about that. What else is there to talk about? It ain't nothing else to talk about. It ain't nothing else to talk. If we ain't talking about that, it's bullshit. Like, hey, look what they got on the news. Hey, I don't give a fuck. Hey, guess what so-and-so said? I don't care. We need to be talking about those children. Period. I'd be doing you a disservice if I ain't just say that. I'm not going to sit up here and play with you. I'm going to keep it 10K with you. But like I said, y'all ain't did nothing. Y'all ain't did nothing benevolent at all. No records. Nothing good. Make your people pay for health care and live under your under your governmental strong arm. Strong arm shit. I can hit this nuke button and just kill everybody. That's real convenient. But I keep telling y'all, your salvation is in the liberation of your dearly departed and your ancestors, because they forgot about. You give more reverence to God who you've never seen. You haven't been given a definitive description of what he is, and you haven't made a verifiable connection to that. And we waste our whole life guaranteeing that we're going to return back here in the same condition. And lifetime after lifetime, your light begins to lessen without learning the lessons, to make certain that your light is stored and your life is recorded, so you don't have to keep living it over and over and over again. Many of you have already reached a certain threshold to where you evolve beyond this. It don't mean that much to you. It doesn't have the same effects on you that it did several lifetimes ago. So your third eye starts to open up and you start to pick up on them higher transmissions from your higher self, because your higher self is the one that's picking up on shit and connecting the dots for you. Some of y'all call us the spirits. Some of y'all say your spirit guides. Some of you guys say the angelics. Some of you guys say it's your ancestors. Damn it, it's you. You're too big for this dimension. All of you could not incarnate into this dimension. The mechanics of this form of creation is too dormant to hold you. It's too dormant. They show you that in the Bible when they say that the light shined up in man and the darkness comprehended it not. What it's saying is that the light that shined up inside of the body, it can't comprehend it. The body can't comprehend it. That's why I said the core of your intelligentsia determines the intelligentsia level of the cells in your body. That's why some people body be breaking down and they be real sick and like, yo, what grade level you reading on? Oh, I read on a 7th grade reading level. Well, guess what? Your cells gonna function on a 7th grade level. You got to dial into who you are spiritually, and then that'll put your cells on a spiritual level as well. They're gonna vibrate at that level. Them neurons, they're gonna be able to attach to that. That's why I take y'all through the stages of the chakras, because you got transmissions of light coming through each one of those chakras. You know, a lot of new agers call it light codes, right? But those codes are actual messages, right? And it just depends on your level of expansion, which a lot of people don't even have a planetary consciousness. They got a human conscious. You got to break past the barriers and the limitations of the human consciousness first. That goes for the astrology. That goes for the mechanisms of what they're referring to as time, right? Biology. You got to conquer that first in order to function with some autonomy with who you are spiritually. Because you contractually obligated yourself to be disconnected from yourself in order for you to see yourself. And it's a litany of other contracts that you made as you descended, right? Into this density. You were less dense. And the less dense that you are, the more connected you are to everything. But at some point within your existence, you found that to be boring. And you wanted to challenge yourself. You didn't feel fulfilled being connected to everything. So you attempted to find out what it would be like to exist not connected to everything. How's it going? Now you got forgetfulness. Now you got to remember. Someone has to remind you. You got to have a mother and a father to ward you. You hear me? You need elements in play in order to sustain yourself, just so you can see what it's like. And the density of the fog, of the inhalation of oxygen, puts you in a spell, puts you in a trance that you think that you're human. And you leave out your body every night. You know what a lot of people go through after they didn't know they didn't left their body? Damn, man, I sure do want some Burger King right now. Ah, shit, I sure would like a cigarette. Man, what I wouldn't do for a cup of coffee, I sure would like a lobster. Man, I want to be born again. Here you come. You're not going to have the same mama and daddy. You're not going to be born in the same exact city. You hear me? And you're not going to remember what happened in your last lifetime because you didn't turn on the circuits of your consciousness, and the engine of your soul can't process because that circuitry has been shut off. You got to turn it on. You may not have done enough in your last life for that aspect of your consciousness. You may not have done enough in your last life for that aspect of your consciousness to be open to you. Some beings do. That's why you see children. They call them prodigies and wonderkins. They know how to play drums at 2 years old, and ain't nobody teach them. They can get on the piano and play Beethoven and shit. Like, yo, how you doing that? Because that being used to be a piano player or a jazz percussionist in his last lifetime. As you say about spontaneous combustion, simultaneous combustion. Yeah, these things is regarded as a phenomenon in order to create a religious filter so that they could keep you in a state of belief. Because the sixth ether ghost man can't function outside the range of belief and fantasy. You can. You don't need fantasy. You don't need belief. You put soul into that. That's why when you go to a white or a Caucasian church, right? It's dead and docile. It ain't no life. They be speaking in Latin and shit, a dead language. The damn the priest look like the Sith Lord, got that evil demonic look in his face. But you go to the so-called black church, they hitting the tambourine, dude playing the shit out of that damn organ. I'm just saying, you got to look at the contrast of what I'm saying. You go into a black church, you know, they got some rhythm, some choreography. They got matching gowns and shit. It's the same color as the pews. They got the opening, the crescendo, and then they gonna close. They put on a whole show for your ass. At least you be entertained. It be full of life. You know what I mean? Because you are the progenitor of life. That's why we hold up the Ankh. That's why we hold the Ankh. This is the key to life. And it's also the key to eternal life. Because you are an eternal being. And who you are spiritually registers on an eternal frequency, not on a temporal frequency, which is allocated to a material dimension. This where these beings was cast out of Orion to Earth. They show you this in your Bible in Revelations chapter 12, verse 7. Right? When you look in there, it said that the Archangel Michael had a war in the heavens or in Orion against a being named Satan and his angels. So he had angels too. And they went to war in Orion. And somebody lost. Those beings that lost, they came here and brought their devilishment with them. Right? And they had children here too. And cultivated them. And they looked to destroy you. But you don't realize that you're a spiritual being. You're too busy looking at the flesh. That's how I know a lot of people not spiritually advanced. They can talk a lot of good knowledge, but that don't mean that they spiritually advanced just because they know some knowledge and they done read a bunch of books. That shit don't mean shit. A spirit don't need no book. A spirit could take its etheric cord and just absorb the information. But you have to be autonomous to the terror matrix to function at that level. You got to give him back his concepts. The framework of how he think. You got to give all that shit back. And align yourself with what reflects you. You got it. That's where it starts. You got to align with what reflects you in a practical and a rational way. If you got to overthink about it and speculate and reach, that shit ain't for you. Yeah, there are gods. For lack of a better word, I got to use these terminologies because that's what people understand. Yeah, there are superior evolved beings that assist humanity, right? And depending on your etiquette, they can determine if they want to assist you or not. And what I show people is how to appropriately present themselves so that beings that do outrank you celestially will take an interest in you. Right? So that they're taking interest. Because see, our biggest downfall is thinking that we can control everything. And I tell everyone all the time that, you 7.5 million times smaller than your planet. The planet is 564 miles in diameter, equilateral diameter. Humans aren't even 1 mile long. When the earth breathes out, it's 24,901 miles. Humans aren't even 1 mile long. You're not even a half a mile long. You're not even a 32nd of a mile long. You're 1/64th of a mile, maybe. 1/64th to 1 mile. And the planet that you stand on is it's over 24,000 miles, right? You don't compare. You're pale in comparison to size. And we're not looking at the scale of our existence. We're undermining our scale of existence, or we're overcompensating for our lack of scale within existence. And that leads us in a psychosis that doesn't allow us to evolve as a celestial being. You're thinking too human. They call it anthropomorphism. So when you talk about God, and you'll say, God, God gonna take care of everything. It's in God's hands. So it's like, damn, God got hands? What they look like? What color are they? Was he brought up in Egypt or the West, or Egypt in the East? You hear me? These are questions that your oversoul be sending to you. Say, how do we align with the Nitiru? I missed that live. That's an excellent question. You need to align yourself with your family first. To who do you insist that you align with your family? That means your mothers and your fathers, their mothers and fathers, their mothers and fathers, and their mothers and fathers. Then you want to align yourself with the 4 elements. Ta, the earth; Ma, the water; Nifu, the wind; and Set, the sun. Align yourself with those 4 elements. Then you want to align yourself with yourself, because it's your oversoul that the Nitiru operate with, right? But they're not gonna make. They can only rock with you at the rate that you rock with your own dearly departed, right? I kiss my mama picture every morning and tell her I love her. That's the first thing I do before I even pour a libation. This is my own little ritual. I kiss her on the forehead, on the picture. I take the creamer out the refrigerator and get the percolator going, right? Go pour my libations from off my altar. I have a conversation with my mom or sometimes my sister or my grandmothers. So when I get a message from Tahuti, that shit is 1089. It's clear. But I checked in with my people first. I didn't disrespect their part in my material existence. And Tahuti take note of that. Sekhmet takes note of that. Patah takes note of that. Like, oh man, he tapped in with his people. Let me hit him. Let me hit his people with some hikah, which is a word of power. And from the station that they're in a more safer locality to take on a bandwidth of energy from a celestial being with a high ranking. And the aspects of them that's coursing through my veins, it get touched with that too. So these are how these connections are made from an off-world locality. Now, as far as in this locality, because they intravenously move in and out of both universes. The Netaru, these are primordial beings, right? They come from the primordial darkness and the pocket dimensions that all of these universal universes belong to. Said neutrinos. Neutrinos are subatomic particles, right? They are the catalyst to bringing forth the atom through its medium called the electron, right? The electron wanted to exist. And that's why you see the L, they call that the source. L, then you got El, Elo, then you got Elohim. You follow? That came from the electron. Some of you were elected and some of you were selected to be here. So what I'm saying is some of you wanted to come here and some of you were petitioned to come here. You just don't know your ranking spiritually because you didn't forgot who you are. The amnesia of the oxygen and got you. And that's what the Elderbarians needed on your planet. They smuggle oxygen to your planet. The same way that they smuggle drugs across borders, they were smuggling oxygen to this planet, which is a poison to the physiology of your makeup, because part of it is reptilian. A lot of people don't like to hear that, but that's not who you are. It's just the genetic imprint of the vehicle that you then incarnated into. Because I keep telling y'all, you're not this body, you a spirit. And everybody in our community know you are not the body and you are not the mind. These are utilities that you utilize in order to interface in this reality, right? And that's not something that you're just going to pick up in one sitting because you've been conditioned under a sixth ether ghost man mind that doesn't even belong to you. I don't know what they keep saying to you, loved one. But if it's something that can accord as what I'm saying, yeah, it could be. Yeah, oxygen, oxidize, rust, right? Things rust in the oxygen. It's a poison to us. Oxygen is a poison. It's causing you to oxidize, just like steel or copper. When you put it out in the elements, right? When you melt the copper and then allow it to cool off, it starts to oxidize. It starts to rust. Same thing with steel. Same thing with any other type of metal. Same thing with bananas, apples, fruit. It begins to oxidize. The moment that its insides is exposed to oxygen, You see that? But the six ether ghost man needs oxygen. He needs that shit more than you do. And see, the trees give off oxygen for you to breathe. But the trees don't need you to breathe. They be like, yeah, we get the trees carbon dioxide, but they don't need you to breathe. They gonna outlive you anyway. And I be telling people all the time, the trees is what's consuming your flesh. The trees consume you. The vegetables you consume, they end up consuming you. The fruit that you consume, it ends up consuming you. Who you are physically, not but the spiritual resonance of what's left over in that shell after you have extricated the shell indefinitely, it utilizes the sentient consciousness left over in there in order to revitalize itself. Right? This is spiritual knowledge. Hell yeah, pineapples eat the shit out of you. Yeah, it eats you. When they put your body in the ground, whatever tentacle, whatever roots that break through, yeah. Why you think it tastes so good? Why you think it tastes so good? That's why. Why it's so healthy and leafy and this is good for you. That shit made up of you. Y'all don't like to hear that shit, but it's true, man. These are the absolutes of reality that need to be seen and addressed in order for the gatekeepers that are guarding the gateways of the portals in your own consciousness. They want to see if you up to task. They want to see before they let that corridor open. And see, I was talking to the clan mother of our community last night, and I said, too many people want to fast track. You know you only ready for the third grade or the fourth grade, but you want to act like you ready for a Harvard, bachelor. You know what I mean? You about to get a doctorate out of Princeton or some shit, but you ain't even learned multiplication yet. To put it in an analogy, your first task is, can you sit still? Find you a Gregory Grabavoy code. Test your patience, your obedience, and your steadfastness, and your sense of persistence. You can use a Gregory Grabavoy code. I want you to take an affirmation. This is my homework to you guys. And I want you to say it 108 times. Say the affirmation 108 times. If you find that easy for you to do, find 2 of them and do it. Do it with 3 of them, but no more than 3. And watch what start happening after the 3rd day that you do it. Watch what start happening in your life. But you got to be open to receive. A lot of people don't be open to receive. They don't feel worthy to receive. You better get yourself off that frequency. He said, I'm doing 3 of them and it's working like crazy. See? I'm going to tell you what's going to get you the result. Fuck all that speculation and it might work. Maybe it's your ancestors, but man, fuck that. Do this shit how I'm telling you and it will work. You got to trust in the power of your own invocation. Why even say it if you don't trust it and believe it? Yeah, I said don't go past 3. Because what happens, you can go past 3, but what's going to happen is the circuitry of your brain is going to shut down. And then you're going to get real tired. So for some of y'all that do be doing y'all invocations and y'all be saying this stuff a whole bunch of time, because the real magic number of motivation is 1089. That's why it's called 1089 TV. That's when you have full-blown clarity. You feel me? You get a psychic connection to that omniversal grid line that's connecting to what you're talking about. That's how I connect to the information. Because I keep repetitively saying the same affirmation over and over and over again. I do it 1,089 times. I do some of my Gregory Grabavoy codes like that. Some of my affirmations, I do them like that. That shit ward off anything. It's all about consistency. And are you perpetual? Because it takes 21 days to form a new habit. So you got to do this shit. Like, damn, even if it's giving you results, still keep doing it. So it can become hardwired. Because when you do it 57 days in a row, now it can crystallize. It become a part of you now, right? It's who you are. It's to the point I just talked about the ancestors so many days in a row that people in my family and those associated with my family, they want to know something about the afterlife or the answer. I'm the first person they come to. I might not hear from them for years, and they like, oh man, I had a dream last night, man. My grandmama came. I just got to talk to you, dog. What I need to do, I could feel it. Something not right. I don't impose what I know onto other people, but they can see it emitting off of me. They know where I stand with what I stand on. And they know I'm not playing with it. They know it's not a game for me. That's what you align yourself with. When you do that, I'm telling you, the Neteru take notice of that. They know you're not going to take what they give to you and yours for granted. They know that you appreciate it. And then more be added to you. I was telling the sister last night, we were talking about, because I had somebody, they did the technique, like I said, and they got, I ain't gonna say her name. She ain't gonna want me to say her name. But she ended up getting about $4,200 after she finished doing it. And she was like, I'm gonna buy a whole bunch of stuff, put some money in your pocket. And I said, hey, you already done put money in my pocket. And she said, how? I said, because you did it and you got a result. That's how I got paid. I take spiritual currency. I don't get no money until you get a result from what I show. And then she might want to bless me and buy something. That's fine. But that's not where I'm gonna get paid at. Somebody else gonna pay me for her efforts. You hear me? And they gonna be in the need of my assistance. And now I got the necessary hiccup to administer to that being. This raises my value in the spiritual universe. Fuck all of this shit. I take that and reinvest it back into the business all the time. I told y'all that the other day. Like, hey man, every day I reinvest back into the brand. Every time I'm gonna get more crystals, more magnets. They raising the price up on everything. Right? But it ain't gonna stop me from doing what I need to do. People be like, damn, the gas is gonna went up. That shit $4.50. I don't care. I'm not putting no more than $13 in my tank anyway. Instead of me having to wait for it to go to a certain degree, now I just gotta let it go up a little bit more and just go a little bit more sooner. But I'm not gonna shift myself off the vibration of the reality that I built for myself, off of my own energy. Because it's about your energy. It ain't about the fiat or the money. You try to make it about that, you're going to keep yourself down on that frequency. Because their money got a bunch of blood on it. It got a lot of death and destruction on it. It got a lot of corruption on it. It got racist, rapist faces on it. Everybody on that money is a racist and a rapist. And did something very malevolent to be here. Why you want to honor that? Find something of greater value. That's why you can make something of greater value than the actual monetary system itself. This is high level alchemy at its finest. And I've been very, very good at doing that. Very good. That's one of my gifts. I could take something, I could do a lot with a very little. My man sold me his DVD burner back in the day. I ain't looked back since. That's right. He who has the power to wipe things clean, the Messiah, the Messa, right, will not fear of blood money. Yeah, fuck that money. It's the results. See, it's the spiritual currency. I get so happy and excited. Shouts out to Tasha. Shouts out to Tasha on your journey. We'll be praying for you and, projecting positive energy on your travels. I'm almost sure you pour your libations. So you good. You covered. That's one of my students. I see her come a long way and making her little breakthroughs on what she's going through. And everybody else that's been calling me and giving me their testimonies and stuff, right? Everyone is moving in a positive direction. We on a positive frequency, man. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah. And more of it gonna come, Zay. Now you starting to become aware of the spiritual currency. Watch how more accelerated your business becomes. What you do with the tarot. You know what I mean? I didn't see what you said there. It didn't come all the way through, beloved. The person that said something about 17,000 years. Yeah. You're right about that. That's exactly. It's always something other than what they're showing you. Yeah. And the reason why the world ain't been the same since then is because that's the year that their rule was up. They tell you it was the end of the world. It was the end of a type of world, right? They world. Because on January the 1st, 2000, they said the world was going in. A lot of people went into the bunkers. Said my real name is Metaphysical. Okay. Yeah, come join our community. You want to get to know me? Come join the community, beloved. But in the year 2000, just to stay on what you're talking about there, people was buying bunkers. People was going to live underground. They said the world was about to end. And the nigga that was building them generators and selling them generators, oh, that person got over like a fat rat. They made big money capitalizing on people's fears and people's expectations, right? False expectations appearing to be real. Some people went and lived in the bunker. And the second they ran out of food, they came out that bunker and there was a subdivision being built around the bunker they was in. They like, yeah, what the fuck I miss? Right? But what happened on January the 1st on ABC News, Zahi Hawass, who was the leading anthropologist for excavations of tombs and pyramids throughout the Happy Now Valley. Y'all know who this man is. If you're into, the Discovery Channel, if you're into National Geographic, you know about Zahi Hawass. And on ABC at 12 midnight, they turned it from the ABC insignia and turned it into an Ankh. Who remember that? Who remember that? This how I know who in alignment. Who remember that? I know a lot of y'all was out partying and drink, venerating Janus and Bacchus, right? I know you was. But from the new year, that whole day for 24 hours, they showed Zahi Hawass finding the grave sites or the tomb of Asaru, Aset, and Hiru. Aset, Asaru, and Hiru. And his sarcophagus had 14 pieces. The nigga was chopped up in it. So that story was no longer a myth. It no longer was an analogy. It no longer was a metaphor. It became verifiable data that had been confirmed by the world's leading archaeologists on tombs and pyramids, who was Zahi Hawass, right? I just showed that video 1,000 times with who he is. But they didn't kind of wipe that video from the internet. They don't want y'all to see that. Why they couldn't do that for Jesus, Mary, Joseph? They can't show you them. See, they didn't actually exist. No one in the Bible they could prove exists except for Ramesses. That's the only person. That's why they put him in the museums all over the country. Because they know that they can't prove it. They know that that's the only thing that's verifiable. That's why they got to attach their biblical stories to Egypt. When they're telling you about Havilah and Pishon and Gihon, that's nothing but Sudan, Ethiopia, the Nile River, Nubia. They just changed the names up. And they know you're not going to go research it. They say, hey, man, you ain't got to read everything. Just have faith and believe in God. And that's it. That's real convenient for somebody that want to rule your mind to tell you. Look up Zahi Hawass. Zahi, Z-A-H-I-E. I mean, H-I. Zahi Hawass, H-A-W-A-A-S. Zahi Hawass. And pull up Zahi Hawass finds the tomb of Asaru or Osiris. You probably have to get on the dark web to find that shit, but it's there. I'm telling you, because I seen it in real time. So I know it's out there. And years later, I seen it. Yeah. And my master teacher had seen it too. That's when I knew I was in alignment, man. When he said that shit, I was like, oh, man. I knew I wasn't tripping, which I knew, you know what I mean? But he came and doubled down on what I was thinking on that shit. Like, yeah, that shit really happened. And I mean, they blocked out ABC for 24 hours. They don't want y'all to know that. That's what you in alignment with, man. So I don't give a damn if the pyramids started over here or if they started in what they're calling Egypt. I don't give a damn where they started. They could have started over there or over here. When I look at those tombs, they look just like me. When I read the papyrus and the knowledge that's in, the text and that's on the walls, that shit resonates with me. When I see Het Hiru, that looks like my mother. When I see Amun-Re, or Amen-Re, or Amen-Ra, that looks like my daddy. That looks like my grandfather. When I see Ptah, I see myself. You hear me? When I see Nefertum, I see myself. I don't see Charleston Heston. I don't see that Jesus picture that they show either when I look at that. When I look at Haru, I see myself. I don't see Matthews, Luke, or John. I don't see them niggas. You got to show me that they got a grave site first. Prove to me that they existed. And then let me hear what you got to say about how I need to have faith in that shit. But if you can't verify that they even actually existed, you kick rocks with that. They got the grave site of John Wycliffe. Somebody told me they dug John Wycliffe up and disintegrated his bones. But they took his concept of the word God. And he always coming to me about that word God and how he came up with it. The meaning and the definition. Dionysus Exiguus, that's who used to burn people at the stake during the Roman Empire. the Roman Republic. They wasn't an empire then. It was just a republic. And they was deboing all of these Protestants out of their notes and out of their knowledge, because a lot of them knew how to speak languages that the Christian monks couldn't speak. They were very limited in their understanding until they said, man, we want to understand more. They said, yeah, you got to go to Egypt. And that's where they started to put together Catholicism, because they seen the cat, the holy cat. Holy cat is Catholic, right? Catholic. Catholic. Cat, holy I see. That's where that came from. That's where they got their knowledge from. And the Baruti is in the land of Amun-Ra, and it belongs to the temple of Anu. They know that. And in that temple, it was 3 chief deities. One was named Asaru, one was named Aset, and one was named Haru. The Father, the Son, and the Mother. They took that and turned it to the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, because they didn't like women. They like little boys. I'm just keeping it 10K. They like little boys. They got this thing with little boys. You hear me? They got a thing for throwing a woman up under the rug. You got to take their mind off. You got to be able to have a discernment to see through that, through the bullshit they presented to you. Take off them rose-colored glasses they done gave you and start wearing something. Take them off and you can start seeing with some clarity. And you can see yourself clearly. You can see what reflects you. Because only that what reflects you gives a damn about your tomorrow and your betterment. That it don't want to see you do nothing. But for sake of argument, and for lack of a better word, when people be like, well, so what do you believe in? Who is your God? The sun. For what I rationally understand, that's the practical presence that there is a source. Because your sun is your source. Is it the only sun in existence? No. But it's the one that facilitates and provides provision for me and for everyone here. And it don't care what you think about it. It still did it anyway. Unconditionally. And it acts the same of everything that came out of his bosom. You hear me? And when you start talking about the 42 laws of Ma'at, in those laws, it's showing you how to conduct yourself, how to live your life without causing an imbalancement to others. And you will cause an imbalancement to others once you become imbalanced. Right? And if you can conduct yourself in the manner of the 42 laws of Ma'at, then you can go before the tribunal of the Neteru in the court of Ma'at, or before the scale of truth and justice, where they're going to measure your heart to see if it's spiritual or if it's physical. That's what that's about. And most beings make it into the courts, and they got a physical heart. So they got to return back through the halls of Amenti and live another physical life, because the mind is where the heart seats itself. And if you have a physical mind, that means you have a physical heart, you still have physical desire, and you want physical gratification. But if you have a spiritual heart, that means you have a spiritual mind, you're using spiritual senses, and you're looking for spiritual edification, right? Say, are you of the world or the spirit? I'm of the spirit. I keep telling you, you're not this body and you're not this mind. This world is a part of, your body is a part of this world. It came up out of the bowels of the planet. all of the minerals, everything that makes up this physical body came out of your planet. And we just like little grains of sand on the planet. So when people be saying that the earth is flat, they don't know what they're talking about. You're too tiny to even make that guesstimation. Now you're more than welcome. I'm not telling you, you can fantasize and get trapped in the psychosis of your own understanding all you want to. But in the realms of truth and absolutes, that shit don't hold no weight. You hear me? But like I always say, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. You had to take on the moniker of a human, right? And the identity of a human in order to detach from the totality of who you are. Just so you can experience what it's like to live in this density. Because the spirit can't live in this density without a body. You can't have a seat. You don't got a central nervous system, so you won't have legs. You follow? Exactly. This is what our spirit wanted. You seen the people doing the horizontal mambo, and you sat there and watched them do that, and you wanted to be a part of that. You hear me? That's what vetted you. It was the sex force. Sex is a very powerful force, and it's used to pull spirits into this realm. And they enter this realm between the root chakra and the sacral, in between there. And the sex force weighs over 666 sextillion tons. That's 60 sets of 3 zeros. That's a very powerful force. That force is so powerful that it affects the mosquitoes. You can see the mosquitoes flying through the sky having sex. The dragonflies, the flies, you see flies stuck together. You see 2 dogs stuck together. You're like, damn, look at them. They just having sex right there. Right? But it's an overwhelming force. And your consciousness has the ability to break through the threshold of the sex force. I'm going to say that again. Your consciousness has the ability to break through the thresholds, the barriers of the sex force, right? Yeah, you got to have the intercourse. That's how the beings get here. So you seen them doing the horizontal mambo and you said, I want to do that too. It said, you got to take on a body. Y'all refer to my playlist on YouTube. I break all of this stuff down. I done already broke it all down. That's all I could. I got so much data in the database now, you could just go refer to them videos where all the stuff where I get up on the board is on the YouTube. And I show you the dissension of your consciousness into the color spectrum. Because you on the end of the color spectrum, the red end, that's the lowest end. You had to really vibrate slow. And to beings in the spiritual dimension, you look like a portrait. That's how slow you're moving in comparison to the rapidity of the vibration of your spirit. So I told y'all, 5 minutes here is like 5 hours there. An hour here is like 300 hours over there, which is the equivalent of 12 days. You take an hour nap and you didn't drink for an hour, you've been gone 12 days. You've been according to the spiritual account of time, which it doesn't function with the mechanisms of the physics of this dimension. You hear me? You're not using the brain when you go to sleep. Y'all not ready for all of that. A lot of y'all still stuck on your pigmentation. You trapped there. We hear that's what radiology do, is to raise the awareness of your own inner greatness, because it transcends the limitations of this dimension called the light dimension. No, you can't use consciousness, but you are consciousness. You are consciousness, right? The etheric aspects, you got an etheric body. Your etheric body created a mental body that Xerox copies your physical body and makes an etheric counterpart to who you are physically so that you can function in the spiritual universe at the same rate that you do in the physical universe because you contractually obligated to be here. So it's going to make sure that you're capable of functioning in a hominid capacity while you're still tethered to this dimension when you go to sleep. So sometimes y'all be in your dreams and you be driving or you be swimming. Sometimes you might be eating something, right? You're only processing that through your holographic brain because your etheric body made a double of you so that to facilitate the wiring of the way that your consciousness is processing things. But before then, prior, you didn't have no body. You didn't have legs. You didn't have arms. You didn't have a central nervous system. Certain contracts, you had to contractually obligate yourself to being here. You had to broker a deal with the custodian overlords of those bloodlines that you incarnated into just to get here. And you don't remember none of that shit. You're too expanded for this reality. I'd say that all the time. It's like a Lego. Shouts out to Dragonfly. It's like you a Lego, right? You trying to live in Lego land. You too big for Lego land. So you got to go to the Lego manufacturer and say, hey, man, I need you to make a little Brother Ray Lego because I want to live in Lego land, right? Say, when we leave the body, will we know our loved ones and will they know us, who we are in the community? You just answered your own question. Right? Yeah, refer to the 9-grid system, Mother Edenberg, 9-grid system. So they made a little Lego for you. They made a little Lego. And you put a little bit of your consciousness into that Lego. And that Lego now is moving around as a representation of you in Lego land. And you tell it everything to do. Now, somewhere down the line, it stopped listening to you and started exhibiting in its own behavior. You know what I'm saying? You're like, oh shit, it ain't listening to me no more. So now you got to try to figure out a way to get your little Lego version of yourself to listen to you. So you will start leaving little clues, little intuitive promptings to get its attention, to guide its consciousness into alignment with the blueprint that you contractually obligated yourself to being a part of, because all of you couldn't incarnate here, right? And expounding back on that, what I said, like, yeah, when you transition, you saying, are they gonna still remember you? Yeah, they're gonna remember you. A lot of times, someone in your family is picked to be a liaison to recover beings that have left the flesh and show them how things work in the spiritual universe, right? Someone is always allocated that position. So you always hear when our elders, when they're about to pass on, I don't know how many of you have been fortunate enough to experience one of those situations, but they always call out their mama or they can see their brother. Somebody be right there. You know what I mean? And that's been going on for years, right? That's been going on for centuries. But like I tell y'all, the Tim who don't have that same degree of connection that you have, you don't. And he don't need you to have that connection. He needs you to connect to the bullshit that he's serving you so that you don't have that connection. One of the biggest the disappointments of the people that I've come across in this life that have crossed over is that Jesus didn't come and get them. I had one of my old neighbors ask me, am I Jesus? They, are you Jesus? I said, I can be if that's what I need to be for you. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, I don't know what to tell you. That shit ain't for real, man. They find out when they die. For them Christian people, y'all need y'all ass whooped. And this for educational entertainment purposes only, or comedic purposes. When I say you need your ass whooped, the girl was like, yeah, I had this dream and it was with Chris Brown and he had demons around him. Now, all that part could be true. He had, and this demon had took over his body and he was hugging on all these women backstage. And then I heard the voice of Jesus. And then Jesus popped up like, bitch, sit down. Who you lying to? Now you're lying. You could have. I'm going to tell you something that irritate me about a lot of you sensationalized Christians. You think everything that happens, Jesus is responsible for it. Know what I mean? Why y'all try to get credit to Jesus for every damn thing? Why you just couldn't be astral projected to the concert? Because that's what you was doing. You know what I mean? You astral projected to the man's concert. Your oversoul told you that the nigga got a pact with the demons. That wasn't Jesus. You made it be Jesus due to your indoctrination. You made it fit the narrative of your programming. Y'all got to stop doing that shit. Don't say that you haven't been told. I ain't saying you got to stop having that psychosis plan, but guess what? Don't say that you haven't been told. Because what's going to end up happening is you're going to have to use that psychic ability to contact somebody back inside the living to pour a libation for you. Because many people are going to have to wait 3 or 4 generations just to get a libation poured. And by then, you would just be one of the ones that's known, or not the ones that's known, but you would be one of the ones that's unknown. Because you didn't pour no libation for nobody. And I know I got a high probability of hitting those markers because I know my great-grandmothers, my great-grandfathers, and their mothers and fathers. And I want more names. So I could keep pouring libations and keep pouring them on a consistent basis to make sure that they're remembered and revered from this dimension. That raises the ranking of their existence in the spiritual dimension. When I reach out to Santa Muerte, right? And I ask Santa Muerte to watch over someone's spirit. It always happens. I don't even say something sometimes. Sometimes I just let it happen. But for some of y'all, I burn some notes for your dearly departed. You don't even fucking know it. But that don't matter. If I hear you make mention of them in any capacity, right? And I know that you in our community, and I hear you give your little testimony and shit, I'm going to burn something for them. But I don't have to rush and tell you that, like, hey, guess what I did? I ain't got to do that. I don't need the validation. I know that that's another feather in my hat because I didn't do it to let you know it. I did it because it needed to be done. And that's it. And that's the page that our people in the population of the Western world, that's what time we got to get on, y'all. Y'all want to see some real change? That's where it starts at. When enough of us is doing that consecutively, perpetually, collectively, then our network expands off-world. The off-world connection, the network expands. And things start happening a lot more expediently. You want that little punk ass job? You better tell your grandmama. You better go make her some of her black eyed peas and them neck bones and put them on that altar, right? And put that affidavit or make a copy of that job application and put it up there. These are just little rudimentary techniques that work. Because like I told you, I got about 40 students, right? All of them haven't got as consistent as they should be. Not all of them, but a lot of them are. You know what I'm saying? And they hit in the bullseye. That's the whole shit. They hit in the bullseye. Is there some adversities that's present? Yes, always. Right? Always. But that don't mean that you can't overcome them. You got to have an arc in your story. You got to have a plot, conflict, and the conclusion to your story. It just ain't no once upon a time and they live happily ever after the end. It don't do that. People don't they don't like to cover that gray area. You got to go through all that shit, my nigga. Right? To get to the result. It's like a lot of women. We call them finish line floozies. You'll be waiting at the finish line for the brother that put in the hard work, and you wondering how come he knocking down 9 or 10 of y'all at a time. Because y'all was there at the finish line. You wasn't there while he was shooting in the gym. So guess what? He gonna treat you accordingly. And then you get mad at these brothers for doing that, but it's like, yo, you just here at the finish line. I don't remember you when I fell down 2 years ago. Where was you at when I was recuperating a year ago? Where was you at 6 months ago? This is what men ask themselves for ladies that's out there that you want that successful, high-ranking man. Guess what? You wasn't there during none of his adversity, what he had to persevere through. You just sitting there waiting at the end. You're going to be disposable. Right? And that same thing goes for men. Stop wanting to pop up in people's life in their winning phase. You're going to be disposable. You're going to be dealt with accordingly. You don't think that person bright enough to see that? If you wasn't bright enough to put yourself in that position, what make you think that they're not bright enough to have the discernment to see what the fuck you got going on? You hear me? So put in your work. Do what the fuck you need to do. Stop playing with it. Why play? You'll appreciate it more when it happened like that. Like, shit. I appreciate this shit. And them the people that be around. Like, damn, man, how you get on? How that dude do all that for you? Shit, I was there from the beginning. I didn't know that this was going to happen for that individual, and they end up getting blessed. You end up being bitter because that person getting blessed for just being who they are. Always stay the course. Don't ever negate or detour from your course. You don't know what a person going through or what they did to get to what they had to get. If they even got it. Sometimes a lot of people just be, they be seeking validation. They feel empty inside. You know, I found out years ago when I used to stay in Atlanta, I see niggas riding real good. Hey, damn, they riding real good, man. That's a nice whip you got. Yeah. He got all type of gray hairs in the back of his head. He's stressed out about paying that goddamn note and that insurance. And then you gotta have, like, man, I don't know what the fuck I was thinking getting this car. Every nigga I know with a foreign always say that, oh shit, man, I don't know what the fuck I was thinking about. Like, I don't know either. I'm cool with my little Honda. I'd rather have a Honda and 200K any day. Period. Give me an M in a Subaru. I'll take the Subaru Crosstrek. Give me the Subaru Crosstrek and an M. I'm Gucci. I don't need you to see that I got money. Why would I want that? All that's going to do is draw leeches to me. I don't want no leeches. Niggas be mad. Damn, man, niggas always hit me up for money. Well, stop flashing that shit on Instagram. Stop raising the rim size of your tires. Niggas always trying to jack me. Stop giving them something to jack and move yourself out of proximity of people that don't got the same amount of money as you. Or adhere to being victimized by your circumstances. It just be real simple shit. This shit is not rocket science. It really isn't. But you got to be willing to make it through something, man. People do not want to go through nothing. They just want everything to just be handed to them. And it get handed to you and you fucking wet the bed and shit the pamper. You don't even do the right thing with it. You don't even do nothing for yourself with it. You hear me? I done seen that tale. I just seen that story time and time again. I done seen it. Like, damn, man, you mess all that bread up? Yeah, man, shit, I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. You wasn't thinking. You hear me? You have to invest in who you are spiritually. You got to invest in yourself. If you really want to have some sustainability, some longevity, you better start investing in yourself. Period. The job is not going to do it. The job is there. You being paid a wage to give up on your dreams. You're being paid a wage to give up on your dreams. Not in case you're getting paid the actual value of your ability. Now, if you're at that rate, that's different. If your ass caught in some perpetual cycle to where you can't step off and just start a hot dog stand, and I'm keeping it real rational, and get 10,000 hot dogs for $1,000 and get out there and sell them in the street for $3 a hot dog, put as much stuff on it as you want. That's what they do in New York. And the nigga is winning. The dude with the with the hot dog saying, he said, I got lemons. Yeah, there you go. Didn't cost you shit to grow them. You get out there and you sell them. People gonna buy it. They keep seeing you. They like, shit, eventually they gonna buy them. Yeah, I got all these lemons. Go see the lemon lady. You start becoming the lemon lady. Start becoming fixated in people's mind and shit. And the longer that you're willing to be the lemon lady, the longer your longevity has the chance of expanding. That's just how it go, man. But you got to trust in your ability of what you're capable of doing. You got to speak life into yourself. You got to speak life into your ideas. You got to speak life into your ambitions, your visualizations. And you got to trust in the power of what you're speaking. If you don't, it ain't going to happen, man. I mean, I don't know. I can't put it no other way. It won't happen. You know, I was looking at the new OrgoniteTEK wear. I was just like, man, I usually just have it right here on the end of the shirt. I said, you know what? Let me turn that thing into a whole thing. Now I'm gonna start having it real tiny like this on the corner of the shirts, like I be having, right? But that's something that I was always into. I always be visualizing and always be thinking I want to make my own shirts, my own gear. Now I'm just waiting for the embroidery machine to get in place so I can start doing embroideries. Yeah, there you go. You got to see it. You got to invest in yourself. If you want other people to invest, I was looking at some of my lives, the highlights the other day, and I said, you got to be willing to invest in yourself if you want other people to invest in you. You got to invest in yourself. I told you I spent $60 a week. I didn't budget it. I spent $60 a week on candles. just on candles. I gotta have a budget every week for my candles, man. You know what I'm saying? That's just on my candles. So imagine the type of work that my energy is doing to facilitate what I got going on in my reality. Said I've been feeling like I haven't been getting the help that I need because I'm not doing what I want to do. If you say that, then that'll be the case, right? Do what you want to do. No, nobody can stop you from doing that. The helping hand is at the end of your arm. I'm gonna tell you what the issue is sometimes. Fear, right? Fear. We fear failing. We fear not having enough. We fear not being comfortable. And I'm gonna tell y'all, comfort is a threat to achievement. Comfort is a threat to achievement. If you comfortable and you too laid back and lax about shit, guess what? You're gonna take an L, buddy. Shit not gonna be Gucci for you. You know what I mean? But you gotta be willing to take that jump. You gotta be willing to take that leap. You gotta be willing to take that chance. Shouts out to Doughboy Cash Out. Chances make champions. Yeah, chances make champions. You got to take that chance. If you don't take no chances, you ain't gonna get no. You don't take no risk, you're not gonna get no reward. Period. You got to go ahead and and jump. You hear me? You got to. I remember I was messing with the mid way back in the gap. And niggas was getting it for 800, 900. I went and found it where I could get it for 300. I had to get this many, but it was for that price. And I had to do what I had to do to make this shit happen, and I made this shit happen. What's the first thing motherfuckers say? Hey, dog, look out for me. Nigga, I ain't looking out for your whole ass. I told your ass what needed to be done, and you wasn't willing to do it. You was scared. Guess what? I wasn't. I went and did that shit. And I ended up taking all your fucking clients. I took all of your fucking what's the names, and now your plug want to fuck with me. And now I'm serving your plug too. So now what? Now you want to hate on me. Now you want to say I'll be on that sucker shit. Because you had a chance to do the same thing I did, but you was just scared to do it. You was afraid. You thought the police was going to catch you. You didn't come up with a fortified enough plan in order to see it through. But I did. And I knew what risk was at stake when I did it, and I did it any damn way. And I seen myself succeeding. So you got to see yourself in those situations that you wanted to be in, not what you don't want to be in, right? We got to speak the things in our life that we want to happen, not what we don't want to happen. Why the fuck would you want to think that? Right? Think positive. Think real positive, brother. You can do it. If you couldn't do it, you wouldn't even be hearing this right now. You can do it. Looking at my little peanut butter ass, I fucking did it. You can fucking do it. You can do it. I was highly confident. I was like, man, shit, man, I already got product. And I could keep people entertained with the knowledge because I got the years of the knowledge. Because that's what was brought to that's what I was mandated to do, was to teach. And I was like, yo, I got to find a way to live, though. And you need to turn your wisdom into wealth. And when I was told to turn my wisdom into wealth, I did it. Turn my wisdom into wealth. You got 20 years or better on the spiritual path, you should be transmutating what you've learned into some form of wealth. If you've been on this planet for 50 years or better, right? If you've been on the planet 50 years or better, you have an experience that is unique to this reality that you can monetize and leverage against those people attempting to learn the experiences that you actually have. You can monetize that and use it to your advantage. You just have to outline it and structure it. Get with the fucking chat GPT and tell it some shit. Said question, is Khufu Noah? No, Noah is Utnapishtim. Utnapishtim is an Akkadian word, and that means the bringer of life. Khufu was the pharaoh, right? Egypt once upon a time. I don't got the actual time stamp with me right here, but you can Google that. But they two different beings, two different names, right? No, but that's a false awareness. They're not the same person. Anybody else? Any other questions? Y'all know I keep on going. You know, it's the Hootie Rudy Thoth Day. Yeah, you got to see yourself. Just see yourself winning, man. And also remember this too. You just not going you just not going to quit your job tomorrow and just take on off. You know, I quit my job and started a trucking company. And I gave management and my bosses, I gave them a 6 months heads up of what I was doing. I gave them 6 months because I already had stacked up the money. I said, as soon as I stack up my money, because I was working 70 to 90 hours a week, right? Time and a half. I don't play. When I work for somebody, I'm You said you ain't leaving no notice. No. See, I left a notice because I could, if I need to go there tomorrow and get a job, they'll hire me on the fucking spot. They'll love to have me back. They gonna roll out the red carpet. I might even get the fucking money I want. You hear me? But then I'm gonna have to end up getting the fucking hours, and y'all will never see me. Just like y'all didn't see me during that time, right? You never see me. But I told them I'll give you 6 months to get my money right because I was bringing too much money to the company. I wasn't getting paid what I was worth. I knew the value of who I am and what I could do. I gave them 6 months. I started pulling up to work in my work truck that I owned. They're like, man, you really did do it? Like, nigga thought I was lying? Like, why you drive the truck to work? I said, because when I get off of your job, I got a fucking load I need to take. And I'll be back on this day. It started being like that. He was like, damn, for real, it's like that? Like, yeah, nigga, it's like that. Like, you want me to just quit? No, don't just quit. We need you. See, you got to know your value. People don't be knowing their value, and you got to let these motherfuckers know that you know your value. Fuck that. And they'll get themselves in line with your ass. But if you don't let people, if you, like I said, if you don't see the value in yourself, why you expect somebody else to see it? If you're not willing to invest in yourself, why would you expect somebody else to invest in you? I done had 3 investors come to me. And I said, you can't invest in what I got going on. They was like, why? I'm sure you could do the right things with that money. I said, yeah, but you're not in alignment with what I'm doing. So I don't want that type of energy invested into what I'm doing. I don't need to invest that type of energy. You got to learn about the ancestors. You got to be really down with this shit. Them the type of investors I'm looking for, right? If it ain't like that, I don't want you to invest. Like, man, here go 30. Like, I'm good. Take that back. Man, come on, man. I know you can use it. Yeah, but guess what? You're not in alignment with what I got going on. It's not about the money, right? This is my brand, and I'm not using it. Like I told y'all, it's not just for monetary currency. It's primarily for spiritual currency so that I can assist and help people. People need help, man. They need guidance. A lot of y'all don't have no teacher. You have no mentor. You're a feral spirit out here with no foundation to build from, right? But what I told those people, because I had about three investors, and I told them, I said, hey, when I get to the point when I'm ready for that, with the type of investment you looking to make it, what I got going on, because you can't really see the form of what I got going on yet until I brick and mortar it. And even then, you still won't see the form of a return on investment. But I do have something in play where I have people invest into it and they'll receive a return on their investment. It'll be a very practical and limited, venture for them. Because I'm not just going to let nobody eat up off of me forever, right? Pause. But I do have things in play, and I know things take time. I don't want to go viral too fucking quickly with my products and I don't got enough inventory to facilitate the rush. I just seen that happen a lot of times with people too. So you should put your brand in the blockchain. Yeah, I don't want nobody to own my brand though. I don't want people to be able to buy into my brand. I don't want none of that. We're not playing them type of games. This got some integrity to it. Just like when y'all get one of these pyramids. This is branded, right? They branded by I got an Orgonite brand. My pendants. And I'm telling you, people, they'll tell you, Rick, we got to do some more testimonies, man. We need to build everything around the testimonies. And I'm going to start, blogging, putting a lot of blogs up. We'll start transfigurating into website to start generating more traffic. But people need to see those testimonies just with the Orgon, you guys, because it transcends. You said there's not enough pages. I don't on the website, I got about 10 or 11 tabs. Yeah, but I don't be doing a lot of blogging. I do a lot of blogging. Man, my son keep calling me, man. Yeah, to hop your ass on that bus. Crazy, yeah. My son, his school less than a mile away. He want me to pick him up from school every day. Why you can't pick me up? Why you can't walk? You better walk, little nigga. I know you see me. I know you can see me if you're watching me, son. You need to walk or get your ass on that bus. I just seen the yellow bus. You should have got on the bus. Stop trying to be the cool kid. That's where you're messing up. You're trying to be cool. You're trying to hang around with everybody. You should have got your ass on that yellow bus. You're too soft. You need to walk home. That's less than a mile. Less than a mile. I know it. I timed it and walked it out. And with the construction, if you want to go up that back way, it's going to take you 18 minutes. You come around the other way, it's 22 minutes. You got some headphones. You better listen to that little crack baby music and get your ass home. That's crazy. I used to walk 4 miles to school just because I wanted to. Me and my homies used to like to blow our little reef on the way home. Just to be having some privacy to ourselves. Yeah, I'm on live. I'm not about to stop my live for you, Pee-wee, just so I can come pick you up, man. You should have got on that yellow bus, brother. Stop trying to be cool. I wish I did have a damn yellow bus. I wish I did have that shit. I'd be on that motherfucker with the bells on. And I used to catch it in middle school when I went to what they call it, one of those charter schools or whatever. I went to one. It was a magnet school. I was a little bit more intellectually advanced than my peers. So I couldn't go to the regular middle school. And guess what? I was there with bells on. I didn't have to ride the city bus. See, I grew up having to ride the city bus. You know, that was different. I had to walk to school. She said, not the magnet school. Yeah, you know magnet school. That's that. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. And even one time, I had a little girlfriend, right? And I wanted to go over her crib. And I knew the city bus to take, but me and my homeboy, because she had, I have a little homegirl, we walked. It was halfway to the school, and the school was like 10 miles from my crib. You know what I mean? And we ain't had no qualms about walking. But these children today don't have no drive. They have no motivation. They're not going to take no initiative. You know what I mean? These healthy teenagers. I got drive and motivation. I could walk to the printer shop where I use my printing. I could walk there. Now it's going to take me half the day. But what I'm saying is I got enough drive and motivation burning in the core of my chest that if needed be, that's enough drive to make me walk to that motherfucker. I got that type of drive inside of me. You got to have that type of drive in you. And I tell my children, I tell y'all that too. It can't be on you. It got to be in you. It can't be on you. It has to be in you. And when it's in you, you don't have to seek validation. People gonna know it when they see you. Like, oh, this motherfucker the truth. They ain't got to think about it. You ain't got to put on no song and dance for people. They should be able to see it. It got to be in you, not on you. And a lot of people just want to have it on them. They want to be in the Bregalian. They want to cosplay is what I like to call it. You want to cosplay. You don't really want to be the real thing. You don't want to do what it takes to get there. Like I said, y'all want to be some finish line floozies and parasitically attached to others. No. Walk that fucking walk. Or be treated like somebody that's disposable. People will misuse you and mishandle you if you attempt to deal with them in that way. You can't do that. You know. But that's what's wrong with this new generation. Boy, I don't know what to tell y'all. I don't know what to tell y'all ass. Y'all have no drive, no motivation, no initiative. Your Bolovian area of your brain has been fried. The circuit has been overrolled, right? It then short circuited out. You got no sense of appreciation, no sense of nothing. This is just like, yo, put your life on pause and do what I want. Because I don't even know what I want to do, but I just want to do it anyway because I don't even know. Like, nah, you better get out of here with that dizzy shit. A lot of y'all got a rude awakening coming for you when you turn 21. The whole world gonna look at you like you a damn fool. And your mama or your daddy can't coddle your ass no more. No, they gonna want your ass gone too. They might be afraid of you. See, some people be afraid of their children and shit. Like, I don't get that shit. Fuck that. Fuck that. And that shit be looking kind of bad. Like, you be 25, 28 years old, you still living with your mommy and your daddy. You know what I mean? You get mad because they won't let you have the little sex in the house. In their house where you ain't paying no damn bills. You ain't doing a damn thing. Go get your own shit. Oh, shit. Yeah. Life is not going to wait for you to get your shit together. You got to realize that. It's not. You going to have to live your life out. You the one that came out that twat. Not your mama, not your daddy. You did. you go you're gonna have to take some accountability for your existence. And if you don't got the drive and the motivation to do that, then you will be codependent all of your life. You'll go your whole life wanting somebody to do something for you because you don't want to do it for yourself. You will never gain spiritual knowledge that way. And you're a spiritual being. So by default, a lot of people inadvertently trap themselves in this dimension. And it may take them up to 1,000 lifetimes of incarnating into this dimension to realize that that's what they're doing. Right? It takes that many lifetimes. And on the course of those lifetimes, somewhere along the line, something in the core of your being awakens. And your navigational system starts to put you in predicaments where you can't do nothing but evolve. Right? Evolve beyond the limitations of this threshold. And many of you have reached that crescendo in this timeline. That's why you incarnated here. You sick of this shit. You sick of keep incarnating and sending yourself through cycles and loops. And all you doing is forging a gap between the closing of the circle to make the circle or the cipher complete. This is your chance. You know, that's what this is about. That's what the year 2000 was about, was the end of that paradigm. Now people get a chance. That's what that was really about. Said, do you work? I don't know what you mean by that. Do I work, folks? Do I know? Might want to word that another way. Said, that's supposed to be do your work, folks. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you got to put in that work, man. Put it in. Yeah, I got a whole community. I got over 200 members in our community. I have over 40 students that belong to that community that have taken my discourse. Yes, I do. You know, when I'm not on here, I'm either counseling or checking up or, you know, just keeping an open rapport with the people in the community. You know what I'm saying? You can just reach out to me. Y'all got to join the community first, though. Got to join the community. I don't care to know people from this side, because TikTok, they usually suspend my live. They just suppressed this live. They said, "Yo, we suppressing your live for the next 10 minutes. It's not gonna be visible." They do that shit every time I come on here, because I'm actually making a difference in people's life by making them prove it to themselves, not to prove it to me, not to Instagram, not to TikTok. Prove it to yourself. It ain't about what you can prove to me. Prove it to yourself first, and then come to me with the report. I mean, I'll be doing you a disservice. We're not about to play what happened before the year 2000. That was the old paradigm. Now we in the Paruti paradigm, where people will be empowered, enlightened, and they will evolve at an accelerated rate under the guise of raynology. Raynology is designed to open up the axon terminals in the neural mapping of your brain so that you can process a higher bandwidth of light code. That's what it's for. So if you guys are struggling with the 9-grid system, if you're struggling with the 9-grid system that's pinned to the top of the board or the thread in the community, if you can hit all 9 of those bullet points, then you should be processing information off world effectively. You shouldn't be confused about what's taking place. because that's the necessary regimen that's going to open up enough neural pathways and axon terminals in your brains for you to be able to interface, at least at an intuitive level, which is one of your higher senses. So when you join the community, which you got to purchase a piece of tech, and I've talked to everybody that purchased Orgon. You got to purchase some Orgon. You can't just purchase a bottle of oil. You can't just purchase a t-shirt and be like, hey, man, when you going to talk to me? No, you got to show me that you really invested, because you get access to the database of our community. Over 3 years worth of information, techniques, and modality that you can start utilizing today and tomorrow, right? And it's worth way more than the price of what you're paying. You hear me? Say, all my gems arrived to me. Missy. Who are you, Missy? What's your name in the group? See who that is. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, y'all. Yeah. Is that MZ? Is that Emerald? Yeah, so, oh, Detroit. Detroit. Is that the Detroit? Tate? Miss Tate? No, you being too vague. That's too much. Are you on the Google chat group? Miss Missy? I know that ain't Miss Lotto, Miss Jackpot. She kept hitting the lottery and shit. She just kept hitting that button. She was like, hey, Doc. One time she sent me some money. I was like, yo, what's this for? She was like, yo, I use them techniques. I keep hitting the lottery. And then it stopped happening. But what she was telling me, she kept on doing 50-cent box. No, you can't be like that. I go in there. One day I kept seeing the number 12. Hey, man, why I keep seeing the 12? I just kept seeing it. I pull up in the gas station at number 12. I'm like, damn, there goes the other 12. I'm like, man, let me get 12 on 12 and let me get a number 12. And it's like, yeah, that's a $50 ticket. I was like, okay. I got the ticket. I scratched it off and hit it. You know, I'll be going through all the, you know, I don't like mild disappointments. I want my disappointment to come quick. Said the 44 from the 44. 111. I don't know. You're speaking too cryptic for me, beloved. I don't like to be lofty like that. You must not be in the community. You must not be in the Google chat. Are you in the Google chat? You in the 1089 tech space? Yeah, but I scratch off a $50 ticket, man. I won $75. You know, really I won $25. But something was telling me, it was nudging me like, yo, get that shit. And I got it. See me like Missy is. Yeah. Yeah, she not, man. She being too vague. And that's okay. You could come join the community. Come join the community. I'm still running a sale on small pendants. I'll show you guys what I have left. And I still got some chest plates available too. We also got the big guns on sale. For you guys that want to get those big guns, those are on sale as well, right? Get them now. You know, people been ordering them big guns. Like, damn, let me go ahead and get these mugs. Yeah, them big guns is very powerful. They really encapsulate the full environment, you know, and the bandwidth of his energy facilitates yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Yeah, that's right. I said yesterday. As it started yesterday, the day before you burn it, the energy already be at play just from what's emitting up off the note, you know. Anybody else? Any other questions before I get on up off of here? Any other questions? Come join us in San Antonio. Calling out my AAA members, especially you guys in Texas. I want to see you. It doesn't cost you a thing to come. But for all other participants, you do have to purchase the ticket. For tech members, I will be doing payment arrangements. You follow, you can, as long as you have that thing paid up by the time the event comes, you'll be all right. All right? But I will take installments for you guys. It might feel like you might need to handle it that way. You can. You know, I will admit that for this event. Says she in Houston. Yeah, come on down, Miss Missy. Come join the community in real time. You will be fast tracked ahead. Everyone that's on the AAA side, you kind of getting fast tracked ahead of the people in the community because you're getting a repetitive technique of interfacing with the afterlife. And when you put that template over everything else, that shit just be easy for you. That's why so many people find it effective to utilize the technique and modality in the 1089 tech community, right? And some of y'all, Keith, might not feel like you're doing enough, or you're not, like, man, you're already learning on the curve. Think of the information that you done picked up as far as the soul's journey or the spectrum of the soul's journey. People could go 20 lifetimes and not gonna find that out. A lot of stuff that I show y'all, people not gonna get that in this lifetime. They not. It might take them, say, what is the AAA? That's the Ancestral Altar Activation Discourse, right? That's why I show people how to construct their altar, right? A functioning altar, right? One that's generating a circuit. It's going to amplify your activity. It's going to transfigurate them offerings over expeditiously. I can't say the word. Expeditiously, right? Things going to start transfigurating. It's called altar for a reason because it's altering the course of your life. And it's altering it back into the blueprint of the custodians of that bloodline, right? A lot of people not up to task. They're not going to do that. Shouts out to Keith. But you doing it. And then you the only person in your family doing it. I do it for all of my aunts, all my uncles, all of my grandmothers and my grandfathers, their mothers and fathers, their mothers and fathers, their mothers and fathers. All of my uncles and my great aunts and uncles, their children that have passed. I don't miss a soul. Any soul that has crossed paths with me or that's connected to me and somebody, like my pops will hit me up every once in a while and be like, hey, I know you didn't know Willie B, but Willie B had a son and his son had a son. And I just found out I'm at a funeral right now. They passed. Make sure that you make an offering for them the next time you at the altar. Because my pops got the altar up too. So, man, we don't miss nobody, man. When I go see my granddaddy, when I go to sleep, that nigga stay in the penthouse. This shit fly as fuck. I'm like, damn, granddaddy. He just laugh and shit. You know what I mean? But I interface with my people, man. I interface with them through the flame. Y'all gonna learn all these techniques. Just don't expect, don't want instant gratification like, it didn't happen for me. It took my dad 3 years to see my sister. May the ancestors be with her. He was like, damn, man, you seen this again? I said, yeah, man, I see it all the time. Like, damn, man, how come I can't see her? I said, Pops, you don't meditate. It's a lot of stuff. You haven't been at your altar like that. Said, yeah, it's going down in July 25th. That's also Denali Day. We're going to do a big burn for Denali on that day, you guys. We're going to do a big burn for Denali and for Lintel. May the ancestors be with them. Members of our community that have transitioned over. And we already be doing it every day for them anyway, but we're going to do a big bonfire for their ass. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, they see it. They see you in the group. They like, oh, shit, you burning money? They like, oh, shit. That's what we're talking about. Hey, this is for real. It's time for us to come back into our power again. And it's the most practical, rational connection that we're capable of making. That's your own grandmothers and your own grandfathers. Your mothers and fathers in some cases. That's the easiest spiritual connection that you can make because you got an actual physical experience with them. So when they respond to you, they're going to respond to you in a unique way, but only you going to know that that's them. And when you make the effort to make that connection and they respond to you and show you beyond a shadow of a doubt that that is them, you become empowered by that decision that you made to make that connection. And you're going to want to keep that shit going. You're going to want more results. Not the hawks and the vultures. The eagle's going to be flying around your crib. They're going to be perching up on your window. You know what I'm saying? That's a great report. Great report. Okay, one more question. Thank you, Ricky on the likes. Yeah, but that's the most empowering connection that you can make, you guys. The most empowering. One day I had my Mama Floyd. That's why I be talking about her kisses all the time. I'm like, Mama Floyd, can I have a kiss? She said, come here, sugar. And she kissed me. And I was like, man, it woke me up out of my sleep. And I was like, man, don't nobody kiss me like Mama Floyd. And she showed me a memory that she had of us on Waverly, Woodrow Wilson and Davidson, over that area. And man, she showed me that memory, man, and all I could do was cry. You know what I mean? And that's something that they got a very unique way of bringing a memory up that you didn't remember. So that's why I'm very vigilant on embellishing the moment and immersing myself in the moment. Because some of those moments become precious memories. You follow? So when I'm around the tech community, I'm immersed in the moment. So the times that we're not together, somebody will make a reference to that time, I'm always on it. Sometimes I don't be on it, but I'll just be happy to be around everybody, to be honest. because we all like-minded and we on the same frequency. And something mystical always occurs every time, every time that we together, right? We're operating from a rational frequency. Right on, Mother Edinburgh. She said she smelled her aunt. Yeah. They gonna go beyond a shadow of a doubt with connecting to you. Y'all can say all y'all want about God and Jesus. That shit don't make no connection. It ain't gonna tap into you the way that your mama is. Or your daddy or your grandma. Somebody that you was close to. Start venerating their spirit. Watch. You ain't never seen God do that. I'll just keep it at 10K with you. You don't even know what the hell God is. It's kind of speculative. Like I said earlier, I'll be asking, so where is this God? Oh, you know, God is, no, I don't know. That's why I'm asking. You know, he in heaven. Oh, yeah? You said that shit like that nigga sent you a letter in the mail. Did he send you a letter? Nah. This God just everywhere. Like people just got these lofty ass explanation of what God is and don't even know where the word first came from. It's like, damn, man. But see, what y'all got to realize for you Nubian people, before we encountered colonialism, we didn't have that. We didn't have to do that. Connect right to the sun. It's like it's like the video I showed you guys with the people in Africa, in Central Africa, being beamed up into the sunlight while they were still alive with no astronaut suit on and going through the beam of light. Y'all remember that? Do I need to post that again? And she went through the beam of light. And then the guy came up behind her and there was a long line of people going up into the sunlight. Yeah, that's on my it's on my Instagram page. Y'all gotta go to my Instagram page. It's on the Instagram. Same name. Same name is in this profile. You're gonna have to scroll down, but you will see it. I'm gonna find a TikTok video and download it again and see if they're gonna let me upload it. He said, when incorporating codes in my being, is it a DNA change or a program overwrite? Yeah, it's a program overwrite. And it's a DNA change. Some of those programs go all the way into the DNA, right? So you're recalibrating the wiring of your DNA and how it's able to interface with the omniversal grid system, right? So let's just say some codes might work a lot more efficiently than others, depending on the numerical value uh, of your alignments. So certain grab-away codes work with me instantly. Other ones take a little bit more time, which it won't even matter if you're doing them 108 times at a time. It's going to override, like you just said, it's going to override that shit. And it's like, no, I'm not on that shit. You know what I mean? It'd be real weird sometimes. Like anytime I'm getting a footing on getting ahead of, my expenses and my overhead, always get a call from my brother. Like, hey man, what's up, man? You want to come do this? We about to go do this. Like, hell no, nigga. I ain't about to just blow my little money and set myself back just for a little good time. I done had enough good times. Right? I'd rather invest in myself. That's what stage I'm at in my life. And that ain't just talking about money. I'm talking about time and energy. I'd rather spend that time with myself than somebody else. Hey, so-and-so got this going on. Like, I don't give a damn. I'd rather put that time and energy into myself. If I'm not out here teaching and giving it to my community, I at the very least, I got to give it to me. Right? And that's how I go. The other day was my granddaddy birthday and his death date. He died the day before his birthday. And I just been perpetually burning ancestor money for him. And he doing good. He's like, hey man, see, I don't even know what to do with all of this. They don't even know what to do. Hey, man, just keep helping people out. But that's what a lot of them do. He said, you were writing the code in the DNA. Am I changing the bloodline? Yeah. Yes, you are. You answering your own questions and your intentions. Remember, I was telling you about your intentions. What you intend to do during the course of your invocations, that shit will carry over, especially if you trust and believe in it, right? In the power of it. That's what happens. Even with my son, he don't he don't know that shit. Nigga like 6 feet now. But I was like, yo, man, don't you want to get taller? I gave him the code for getting tall. And nigga ain't even say the shit. So I say it for him. It just so happened that his bed is on the other end of the wall, on the other end of the wall of my altar. So at nighttime, I'll be saying the code. This when he was smaller. Now the nigga tall as a tree. You know what I'm saying? Still got the body of an 8-year-old, but he tall as fuck. I'm like, yo, maybe been saying them codes. Ah, nah, I don't really be saying. Like, yeah, I know you don't. People don't have no initiative. They don't have no obedience for something that they say that they do want. Yeah, they're the Gregory Grabovoy codes. That's Grabovoy, Grobovi. He won a Nobel Peace Prize for finding a numerical code and vibration of all type of remedies, ailments, situations, and scenarios, right? From money, intelligence, psychic ability, healing, right? Repairing certain parts of the body. And a lot of the billionaires wanted to keep that information secret. They didn't want it to get out. What I found is that a lot of people get access to these codes and I show you guys how to use it and you're not even fucking using it. I don't see how people don't use the codes. I don't know, maybe because of my brain isn't microwave, but man, fuck that. I gotta say my codes, my guy. You better say them goddamn codes. You hear me? I do 108 of them mugs. I done did 4 108s. I did 2 out. I did 2 at my altar during meditation. I did 2 outside, looking into the sun. Right? I took 1 this morning and did it in the shower. You know, just kept doing it. I think I did it more than 108 times because I was just on one. You hear me? I go through my affirmation every day. And I tell you, your efforts will compound over the course of time. You will look up 6 months from now, your whole life would have been in fucking change. Your whole life. You'll be like, oh shit. How did this happen? You made it happen. You are what happened. Just like when you go to the QT in the middle of the night and ain't nobody there. And you get out the car and you go in there and pick up a bag of chips. And then all of a sudden you hear somebody else come in. Then somebody else. And now the person got to stop mopping the floor and come get behind the counter. Because there wasn't nobody there. You ever know that's your clear sim that you are what's making things happen. When you walk into a QT or any overnight gas station or convenience store and the person is in there mopping, that means that ain't nobody been around so they could go ahead and handle that, you know, that task. But then you come in the store, they be like, hey, be careful, it's wet right there. And there's only one person in the store. You made that happen. You just expanded that being's reality. And a lot of times the person be like, man, I guess I ain't gonna have no customers tonight. I guess that was it for the night until the next shift. And then your ass come in there. And the second you come in, now here comes 7 to 8 people behind you. Anytime somebody come behind you into a store, you always making that reality happen right there. That all that shit is happening because you happening. Be cognizant of that, you guys. Because you can use that energy and that mental power to your benefit, but you got to trust it. Don't not trust it. Trust that shit. I got certain things that be happening in my reality. I don't even want to share that shit with everybody. I can't even share it all at this point because it just seems like I'm bragging. It just seems like I'm dangling the carrot in front of you, and I don't want to get that effect. That's why I tell people to get their testimonies. Says some programs are harder to override than others. Does the body need to change to accept the new code? Well, the mind has to change first. Once the mind changes, the body follows. The body gonna do what he says, share it. You got to be a little bit more clear about that. What you want me to share? I'm not certain. You want the Gregory Grabavoy or the experiences? Yeah. I'll be sharing my experiences. I said I don't want to share all of them because at the end it'll be like, oh man, this nigga just saying that shit. And damn. No, but I share my experiences. I share enough of them. I do, but I don't want to overshare. I don't want to come off gloating. You know what I mean? That's why I tell the people in the community to share their experiences. And some of the newer people that just came in there, they already getting results. Like, damn, man, this shit is fucking working. And Zay, you know I'm gonna get on your ass, Zay. You should have been in the damn community, man. You supposed to be 12 steps away from where you at right now with these techniques. Should have been on it. And some of you other people too. I don't know what y'all be waiting for. It's like, shit. We gonna go ahead and I'm gonna keep giving them out and seeing people get results. That's what I get excited about. When y'all get them results, man. Somebody took that Het rule and doing the tetrahedron. The sister did that shit and got her about 4 racks. That same day. She did it in 1 day. She was like, man, I didn't think it was going to do all of this. They're like, hey, man, that's what happened. You knew what you wanted. See, it's the repetitiveness. When existence sees that you're being repetitive about it, and you keep putting that shit out there, and you keep doing it, and you keep doing it, be like, okay, I see you not bullshitting. Let me refer to the grid and pull all this shit to you, and it'll start lining stuff up for you. He said, since I laid my eyes on you, my life has changed and knowledge found me. I'm a Basu now, so much more. That's a great report. And it could even get more, it could get more intense than that. Just come on into the community. Y'all get that labradorite, get that Lord of Labradorite piece that I got. Because it had been confirmed again. I got a 4th confirmation. I'm trying to find one up here. I don't have one up here. But if you having issues with your old lady or you having issues with your old man, you need to you need to get you one of these pieces. You need to get you a Lord of Labradorite piece. Just get the Lord of Labradorite and the conflict gonna go away, or that being gotta go away, or your ass gotta go away. Right? Get you a Lord of Labradorite. Got a piece of lint on it. They on the site. Get you one of these Lord of Labradorite pieces. If your woman always bitching, y'all be at odds and shit, just put that around your neck. I'm telling you, all that shit going in. If your man is getting on your damn nerve, ladies, and he vibrated too low, just put that shit on. and it's gonna reflect. It's gonna it's gonna block the abstraction of that energy that y'all be exchanging. All that shit gonna just it's gonna balance out. Or you're gonna have to get the fuck away from that person, or they gonna have to get the fuck away from you. Right? But I just got a fourth confirmation on that. And I don't never say that with that Lord and Labradorite piece, but I know that was my intention when I programmed that crystal. And I'm telling you, this shit work. It work. It work. You're not gonna have no conflict out of nobody. When I got this on, it ain't no arguing with me. Just going on out of here. Don't try to rage bait me. Don't do none of that. This shit ain't gonna work. It's like, I don't know, it's something about that Labradorite and that jet coming together. And it's like, nah, that shit don't even need to be necessary. None of that. None of that hostile, conflictual activity. That energetic signature gets, voided ASAP. Right? You just have to be cognizant of it. But it does work. It does work. That Lord of Labradorite. Y'all see what I got around my neck? I got some opal and little bits of shards of optical calcite. I've been real clear. I needed that. Shouts out to Dia Oz. But I had some, but she gave me some. And I've been quite clear with my 108s. I've been 108 and like crazy. 1089 and 2. And finding a pocket of time to get that in and still accomplish my task. That's essential. I'm telling you, you got to invest in yourself, you guys. And I ain't just talking about money. I'm talking about energy. I'm talking about attention, right? I'm talking about compassion. Get some of that to yourself, man. Stop emptying your cup for everybody and empty your cup for you. That's where it start off at. I'll be doing you a disservice not to tell you that. All right, we're going to take one more question and see where this question going to take us. I got things to do. Go pick up my children. In the course of handling my other stuff. Yeah, them great reports though. People in the community, Mother Edenberg, Zay, and somebody else had a testimony. Oh, Shamari. They got positive results, man. They let me know what's going on, and them amongst others. Everybody been getting it. I hope y'all been doing y'all moon magic. See, are all the material associated with different body systems? If so, who is the brain? The brain area, the hippocampus area of the brain is Taweret. That's why they call it the hippocampus, right? That's the hippopotamus. Yeah, moon magic. Moon magic is a measurement of the 7 phases of the moon used to see your intentions. So it's alchemy, right? So do I same? Yeah. I mean, if you want to, are you in the community? Motivation? You guys got to come join the community on Moon Magic Mondays. I know okay, yeah. Yeah, this next Monday or the next time that we in the group, just go ahead and you can, give your report. I encourage you guys to give your report because it encourages the other people in the community to stick to it, right? And to do it. But I tell you guys all the time, make sure you find you 2 intentions that are quite graspable. Don't get something that's far out of reach that don't do that to yourself. Prove it to yourself. Do something that you can prove to yourself. Don't come into it with desperate energy. Let me say that too. Don't come into it desperate and you really need something. That's why you're doing it. It ain't gonna come out the same because your intentions are not pure, right? And you only need 2 intentions: one internal, something that you want to obtain internally, and something external. Internal, here's an example: obedience, discipline. You want to gain more courage, right? You want to isolate and block out fear. That's the internal. And during the phases of the moon, you're going to focus on that intention. Then you got one that's external. And the external intention that you might have might be, let's say, a job or a car, right? Or you trying to manifest, I don't know, whatever, a phone, a new set of tires, extra money so you can get your car fixed, right? But you got to focus on those 2 intentions. You're going to have to give them some sovereignty over your frontal lobe and think about them all the time. That's going to determine if you're capable of doing it. It was just 222 when I said that. But that's going to show if you're capable of doing it or not. Because a lot of people don't got no staying power. They just don't. They'll do something, they get the result that they was looking for, and then they stop doing it. And then they bring themselves back to that same exact station again and then do it all over again. Then they get what they want, then they stop doing that shit, and then they I done seen it. I done sat in them shoes before. So when I'm giving you guys these techniques, these are anecdotal to prevention of you going through that cyclic behavior, right? You had to be, it ain't no way around it. You had to just be consistent. And on the YouTube, I got the moon magic up there. You guys can go look at it on YouTube. If you want it even more adept and get all the essentials, it's available at 1089 TV on the website. Go to the 1089 TV tab and scroll until you see the moon magic and you can purchase it, right? Purchase the moon magic and go over that shit. Keep going over it again and again and again and again. It'll be downloaded to your phone. It ain't gonna fucking go nowhere. And you gonna get results. But like I tell my students, if you kind of do it, then it's gonna kind of work. If you really do this shit, it really works. Right? But you have to be consistent. I asked somebody the other day, what's the most consistent thing that you say in your life? And it was something negative. I asked them what was the most consistent thing that they think. And it was something negative. I'm like, well, damn, well, there you go. How you going to expect something positive and all you do is thinking negative? How you going to expect to get something you want, but all you talking about is what you don't want? How you going to have the courage to overcome your fears if all you're doing is talking about the things that you fear? That shit start to become your reality, right? Stop telling people the things that you don't want and stop telling your own self from your own inner dialogue the things that you don't want and start encouraging yourself and start talking about the things that you do want. Damn. I mean, this is not rocket science. And I know some of y'all might struggle with that. That's why I tell y'all, get that tech. You ain't got that tech around your neck. You are, the little white lady on my page and already told y'all. Shouts out to the person that reposted that. Like, man, y'all, I don't need nothing around my neck. Hey, maybe you don't. Keep doing what you're doing. You keep doing what you're doing. I ain't gonna twist your arm off and try to over convince you to tap into what I got available for y'all. You know, some of y'all be making videos, chemtrail be all over your head and shit. You breathing in chemtrail, try to tell somebody to stay positive. They didn't figure it out. They like shit. They don't care how much you put your feet in the grass or how much you hug that tree. They're gonna spray that chemtrail on you when it's gonna affect your behavior. Because they know you ain't got no orgone in your life, right? You ain't got no orgone of the highest order. That's stomping that damn chemtrail. They can't even stick in the sky. They be trying to make it stick. It don't even stick. They be discouraged. Like, damn, this nigga out there with them pyramids again. Yeah, and I'm about to go out there again with these motherfuckers. I got 2 big ones in my backyard. I got one over here inside the flower bush too. I know they be wondering, like, damn, we can't see it. It's in the flower bush. And it's stomping that shit out. We had a tornado come through here the other day. That shit missed my whole hood. It missed my whole subdivision. You hear me? But they need you guys vibrating on a low enough frequency to keep you in fear. That fear keeps you stagnant. It keeps you immobile. And it starts giving you suggestions that will render you incapable of progressing forward. You're letting too many days go by and you're not taking advantage of the window of opportunity. And I know it. I had a student last week who still ain't called me. I said, hey man, call me in the morning. Nigga didn't even call me. He waiting for me to call. Let me say this. Let me put this out there for y'all. I'm not calling your ass. If you're not on my staff and you don't know how to troubleshoot the website or nothing like that, I'm not going to be reaching out to you. You need to reach out to me. You need to reach out to me. Don't blow that window of opportunity. Reach out. You know, we need to talk, but you need to call me, brother. You know who you is. You need to call me, man, so we could deal with these pyramids and stuff. But I'm not going to twist your arm off. I'm not going to no, man. I'm not on that type of time. We all adults here. You need to call me. There's over 200 people in the group. I can't call everybody. I just can't. And especially the AAA student. All the people in AAA, y'all know better. You know, stop waiting for me to call you. I don't have that time. You're going to have to call me. I told y'all that my line is open to you. You're going to have to call me. You're going to have to if you want to say something, or if you want to privy me to something, or you need some assistance. I'm here for you. But if you don't call me, I'm going to keep working. I'm always working on something. You know? But furthermore, we're going to get on over here. Come join us in July. I might be back on tonight. Might come back on here tonight. If I don't, then I'll be back on tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday. So guess we'll do a Friday class as well. Q&A with Dr. Ray. Shouts out to the 1089 tech community. Shouts out to the AAA Academy and the alumni. You guys keep up your libations, your offerings, your chants. And I wish you the best of prosperity of the highest order when it comes to your moon magic. Got too much tech on. All right, you guys. So I do. See you guys later.